Sexton, offering a general reading and, as always, explore what resonates within you. Your awareness to your own experience is by far your greatest teacher. So take what I say lightly. If I take a message or a card or poem one way and you say it another, roll with what feels right for you over my words. Getting two things, a poem was really calling out, so I sat with that, and I'll share it. It's not one that I have read out loud a lot, so bear with me on that. And a Kriya set, Becoming Like Angels. So I'll begin with the poem, The Fury of Flowers and Worms, and this comes from women poets from antiquity to now. And now being relative, huh? Let the flowers make a journey on Monday so that I can see 10 daisies in a blue vase with perhaps one red ant crawling into the center. A bit of the field on my table, close to the worms who struggle blindly, moving deep into their slime, moving deep into God's abdomen, moving like oil through water, sliding through the good brown. The daisies grow wild like popcorn. They are God's promise to the field. How happy I am, daisies, to love you. How happy you are to be loved and found magical like a secret from the sluggish field. If all the world picked daisies, wars would end, the common cold would stop, unemployment would end, and the market would hold steady. Listen, world, if you would just take time to pick the white fingers, the penny heart, all would be well. They are so unexpected. They are so good as salt. If someone had brought them to Van Gogh's room daily, his ear would have stayed on. I would like to think that no one would die anymore if they believed in daisies, but worms know better, don't they? They slide through the ear of a corpse and listen to his great sigh. There's so much that you can unpack in a poem, and what really stood out here is just acts of kindness and loving the moment and taking that time to give love and also receive it, and allowing that to come through, and how many beautiful blessings there are. Daisies are my favorite flower, and there's something so simple and delicate about them. And yes, they grow wild. They're everywhere. The blessings are there if you choose to see them. The flowers, the love, the light, it's there if you choose. And at the same time, it's hard to sift through to find that when you look at the bigger picture sometimes, or you look in one direction. I'm saying like yin yang, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. And that kind of brings me to the Kriya set, Becoming Like Angels. And you know, if you were to look up Kundalini Yoga, Yogi Bhajan, you're not going to like everything you see. I don't like everything I see. When I look within, I don't like everything I see. And somehow making peace with all that's there, making peace with life and death, making peace with the shadow and the light aspects of ourselves, and really coming to terms with that. And I believe that if we give ourselves kindness, I believe if we extend kindness, that this world is a better place. And this Kriya set, I have my own way of exploring Kriyas. Like somehow they just make sense to me. There's some sort of symbolism in them, and they move energy quickly. It's not a practice for everyone. I will say that. And that's outside of any of the harsh realities of the community. So this has 3 parts in it, and the first part has one hand up and the other down. And to me, this is like raising your hand saying like, I'm here, spirit, I'm going to do the work. It's like, I'm here, I'm raising my hand to make that effort. And the next part are the arms open. And my teacher was very specific in teacher training of how we hold those angles. So alignment is huge. alignment and opening up to receive. It's like waving the wand and then saying, I'm here, what's here? Like that allowing part of manifesting, but that allowing part to receive blessings, to receive the guidance. But it really is your free will to raise your hand and say, I'm here, and then opening up to how that comes through. And this last part of the Kriya is like the hand slapping on the ground. It's like bringing it into the earth. It is that Pentacles energy. So take that as it feels right. Are you ready to raise your hand and choose happiness and grow out of your darkness? Are you ready to step up and ask Spirit for help to grow past the depression, to grow past the pains in the past? And can you open to receive the lessons and guidance you need? And can you bring that here and really ground that in the material plane, really ground that in your auric field, like pulling it in. So like opening up and pulling it in, but also there's perhaps some protection with that. Talk about the auric field. Okay. So your bubble of like, I don't know exactly where they want me to go with that. If we think about the auric field, it's like your light. Recently in meditation and even in personal readings, I'm seeing this like light just going in all directions, like within and out, like the starburst. And part of that shining light is two parts. It's just like opening up and letting that energy move through you, but also your auric field, that surrounding bubble energy of protection. So strengthening your auric field so that as energies that come through to you that aren't yours, you have the protection, you have that strength. It's when I was taking a class at Down Dog in Georgetown, one time, I don't know if I was taking or I was assisting, and she said the best thing, because it was Power of Vinyasa, the Baptiste flow. At the time they were affiliate of the Bear Baptiste style, and you would do so many planks and push-ups and just keep rolling through this flow, and sweaty stinky mess just like flowing through it, and keep going. And she said at one point, she was like, she had the plank held, the pose held, and she's like, you got to strengthen your arms so you can move that TV by yourself. And I just like, I always remembered when she said that, because it's like, you have to put in the work so you can take care of you. And it's not always fun. Sometimes it is that sweaty mess. This deck is like screaming at me right now, so that means like be quiet and pull some cards. Let's see what the tarot had to say. Oh goodness, this is a bigger deck. This is the first time I've done a reading with this deck other than exploring it myself. It was a gift, so thank you, Divine Scarlet, maker of the breakup deck. Oh my goodness, making a mess. That's part of learning though, and even creating. When I am like painting or something, or cleaning out the closet, there seems to be this mess before there is everything kind of put into its place. Take that as it resonates. My goodness. Okay, I got it. Find a new way. Find a new way. It's interesting how when you're doing a reading or exploring a lesson, how it pops up in interesting ways. The blessings are always there. There's always like a way to explore a lesson, symbolism, to bring forth more light and understanding. We choose to take the time to explore it. So there's new love coming in. It's what I get. And it's overcoming, the number 55 here, overcoming what holds you back to allow that love in. That's how I'm taking that. Bottom deck energy. the Queen of Wands, I always think of her as like, be that energy. I'm seeing a bee. And so the flowers there, it's beautiful. It opens up. It's temporary too, right? And the bee comes to the flower to work its magic. So do you need to hold your ground and open up and allow something to come to you? Or are you part of that, like, just bumblebee floating around, pollinating or bringing life in another way, just being of service in some way, right? And they work together. What a beautiful flower I'm seeing. It's almost like echinacea, that same color. So maybe that way that we work together is healing on both levels, whether you're giving, receiving. And number 66 and 55, if that means something to you. Hold steady. Her breasts are exposed, so vulnerability. Also breast as in love, heart chakra, nurturing. But it's almost like she's waving that wand. So are you putting up any resistance to either nurturing yourself or another? If you are wearing the crown with integrity, you don't need to fight who you are. At the same time, there is some protection that needs to be put up, but it's like the idea of being that, you just emanate that light. It's not about know what energies are yours to take on and what you need to ward away. And as you take that time with your personal practice, whether it's Kundalini yoga or something else, it's the way that you explore the knowledge of yourself, to know what's yours, to know what's in your energy field that you can learn from, to learn when it is true love coming your way, or whether it's some sort of, there's a malicious intent. So you don't have to fight everything if you know who you are and you feel it out. Take that time to feel it out. The resistance is your way of protecting, and perhaps God has a way of redirecting things, but you don't have to protect yourself in the same way that your mindset thinks that you need to. The bottom deck energy is that Four of Cups. Or what are you holding to that you think you're protecting yourself, but can you trust that the divine is protecting and leading you? They're saying self-sacrifice, like, as you hold to what no longer serves, you might think that self-sacrifice is of service, but perhaps it's actually resistance through the ego, rather than allowing, as you open up, allowing God to give you what you need. And I am telling you, through one battle of either depression or change, unwanted circumstances, it's like I see now it was all like a learning experience to make me stronger. And then it's almost like, as I am fighting and putting up this resistance, like it's like spirit constantly like, go this way, go this way, and I think I have to go this way. They're kind of leading me around. So I think a little bit more of that yin energy. Which is interesting to see the back, because the last general reading was about stepping up to the plate and making that play. Or this feels like this delicate balance of like taking of inaction as action. Let's see what fell out here. Four of Cups, discerning in the thoughts, and curiosity of the cat. So using your intuition to navigate the emotional field and what's yours to hold to. Like, what are you gonna play with? Like a cat, they'll sit there and bat a ball, but like bat things, like they keep moving things along. Use your intuition to decide what in the material realm deserves your attention. Not everything does. Trust in the magic of life, and that there is a bigger picture, that it's going to come through to you when you have pure intention. When you release the resistance of what you think you know, you can allow true love to come to you. You can allow life to bring you new blessings. It's within your power to discern at the energetic level. And some of that's like, I think that's that inaction action. Next card. Two sixes plus this. So those of you that are exploring union and the divine path, perhaps there is some connection coming through, and there's perhaps that deeper memory here of love, and gracefully acknowledging what you know to be true, and you don't have to put up a fight to prove. The elephant knows, and the elephant they say elephant destroys, and if you know elephants better than I do, but sometimes they clear a path. Another card flipped out is discerning your emotion. Listen to God. Listen to God, and use your emotional intelligence to discern, and perhaps erotic intelligence, if it's not just emotions, but what emotions are attached to your sexuality that then sometimes are confused for love. What you give of your body, heart, and energy is sacred. And keep going. Another deck that was a gift. I didn't even plan that. We don't always plan, right? People give you gifts, but I just pulled decks that called out. Both of these are gifts. Another one, first time reading, general reading. It was on my wish list too. Thank you, dear. I'm so grateful. You know, gifts, it is a love language. Whether you say thank you, send a card, it's a kind reminder. And I think we all need that reminder sometimes that we matter. And it's unfortunate we might get in our heads and say otherwise. Keep up the good work and keep putting in the work. A snake often gets a bad rep, but it's about shedding those layers. And sometimes we don't see the cycles of reciprocity, and we think we need to put up that fight. It's just got our sword down here. But trust the memory and magic that's within you, and trust what intuitive insights you're receiving. But you don't need to hold, like, you have to get through and create your own stability, your own self-awareness to allow that magic to come through. Sometimes our ego can dance with our insecurities, our ego can dance with curiosities, even black magic, and it's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about power, it's about purity. It's purpose and intent. Oh my goodness, everything's falling out. The Course is standing out, which is interesting because you have two. So you have the power within you. Declare it in your energetic field and in your stance with yourself. And not to hold too tightly, because what the Course did that actually caused problems, right? It's too tight. But that tightness is more of this Four of Pentacles energy. And if we go back to that general reading of going up to bat or holding a bat with this four of hearts, you don't swing at every ball that comes at you. And you change how you swing the bat based on how the ball comes at you and the field. So it's really about the moment. This is remind me of I've been painting octopus, making octopus paintings, and to me that's like portals. It's like that matrix of like diving in, like what reaches out to you and what were you allow to come in. And so again, swinging that bat, that's where the oracle comes in. Okay, so when it comes at you, you can bubble yourself up. You can create that energetic boundary and ask your guides to put that protection in place for you. But it's about continually to clear your auric field, strengthen it, and bubble up around it. It's funny is like after I started working with that a little bit more, I felt like a tentacle come at me and it was like ding ding. I like heard it. It was so funny. Sorry, maybe that isn't funny to everybody. The Eight of Cups, and it came out in another general reading this week, following the dreams, but with him holding a book, it's like Akashic Records, like what is written for you to step up and do, like what is written in the stars, what is written in the library. Like go up to the library for your dreams. Don't dance with your insecurities and don't hold to what you think you know about your dreams, but be willing to open up and receive. And as you put in that work, that magic is here for you as you listen to your intuition and discern with the emotions, because sometimes the emotional current can pull us down, but can you rise above? And believe me, that's easier said than done. Some lows can really pull you down, and I feel very lucky to be alive on so many occasions. And I keep saying there's got to be a why, and that's what feeds me to do this work. Perhaps it's written there. But the red book, often I'm seeing the Sun card, and it's like your happiness as part of your birthright. Yogi Bhajan used to say that your happiness is your birthright. And he also talked about like the flow of love and that currency of love and allowing it. But it's like your sovereignty, like the Sun card, and there's a sense of sovereignty that you're working together with what was written in the stars and what you reach up to. What are you going to reach up to? There's 4 dots on there too. Which way we're gonna go? 7 of Wands. Make the mark. And rising up. 7s is like really learning and really getting strong energetically. And again, it's coming up, not everything needs your attention energetically, and not everything needs your attention. And maybe some of that is about what this walking away is, so that you can follow your happiness, and you deserve it, but you have to want it. there's much to celebrate in your vulnerability and the support you have from your angels and your guides around you. What comes through purely when you find your pure ground, that's when it comes through. The knight in shining armor doesn't come from you holding to a concept of what you think it should be or who you think you are, and you entertain every curiosity that comes at you. But when you truly feel the magic of who you are on all levels, I'm going to take this today as social, erotic, and emotional, like knowing those cups are full, and you know who you are, you can discern who comes through. Six of Cups, again, that's 2 6 of Cups on the board. Divine union, clearly. But the next cup, the card that had come out is the Death. So putting an end, I held up the Queen, but I was looking at the other, so it's 6. So discerning between a lesson and what is love, and how you're learning to navigate what is yours to walk away from, what is yours to hold to, and what will make you happy, and who you purely are. This tree is cut, and 2 things come to mind. Who's going to do the work? Who's going to put in the work both ways emotionally? But the giving tree comes to mind, and perhaps that over-giving is what needs to come to a rest. The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. And she gave and gave and gave till there was nothing left. And really, it's not about giving, it's about being. And what does it feel like to be you, and to be happy, and to be heard, and feel loved? And can you pour that into yourself and allow the support of your guides and your ancestors to bring that to you, and call in the magic wisdom of your spirit team, and working with the archangels, Gabrielle will help you translate those lessons and learn from the past. And Raphael can help you work through that shadow aspect to heal the wounds that feel deeply ingrained, but really are part of your past, to unfold the magic of who you are. Listen. Okay, and I think that poem starts with listening. Pull a card to get a little bit more from the 3 of Cups. Whispers in the wind, like these whispers in the wind that come into you. But discerning those energetic frequencies of whether it's some telepathic pull, whether it's your ancestors and guides above, whether it is someone crossed over, like, listen to that magic. The owl is coming to mind, and I think in this, the divination deck that I made, the owl is on the 6 of Swords to help with movement, to help with that light and dark, to help with that dark night of the soul, and I feel like that's about those moments where you move past the pain to let it break you open. And will you allow that? And you can call on your support. Like, let someone else lead the way. Like, if you think about the unicorn as of service, horses of service. Like there's service and support around for you to unravel the layers and come into the magic of who you are. And those layers are what are coming to death, like this resurrection of the soul and this death of the ego, or death of who may have entertained your attention, or what parts of the past you have held to based on what someone else gave you that could have been written in your stars to help you learn your lessons. I put these two out on the table. I haven't used them much, but I'm going to call them out now. So two things are happening, okay? I think we're this diving in, like that magical wisdom of like diving into the layers of who you are, and discerning between that Cheshire cat that throws you a curveball or the flowers that say you're a weed, like discerning that while allowing something else to come in and pollinate and bring new life to you. It was all written in the stars for you to be magical, but it takes for you to drink from the cup of life and go through like either the phases. You can't rush nature. You can't rush this. No. Alright, so they're saying we're going to clarify the death card with the Physicala deck. And what I like about what I know of her work is the sense of ownership. It wasn't always pretty. There's this ownership. Four of Swords, so letting some thoughts go. But again, you have a similar creature here. Like, you are that. You are somewhere in between. You can work in this place in between human and not. And not every arrow that was thrown at you, every dagger, every thought is worth your attention. Like, you don't have to hold to those thoughts. You don't have to hold to those lies that someone told you. That's what's building the insecurities. That's what needs to be released. Like, I think about sometimes all the things that like one person told me, and I'll hold to like that one thing, but I hold to it for protection, but it really doesn't serve, because what it did was it caused pain. So the more that I entertain that thought of what someone said I wasn't, is how those arrows stay in. And when I choose to put an end to that, is when I release the pain, not this holding to. And what fell out, oh my goodness, I got another. Where is it? Check hearts. Who's your prince? Who is your prince? Are you waiting for a knight in shining armor to rescue you from your own wounds? Or are you going to sit on your throne and let the magic of who you are be this dance of life, not this wishful thinking of a prince that will save and protect you? Because perhaps that's part. Like, you got to pull out your own daggers, and that's when you will have this cup of love that's true. Okay, we'll do one more message. We'll close this out. And this is a new deck. I haven't printed it fully. I did it in plastic, so I kind of like that. And what's in here, which I haven't written on yet, are blank cards. So you have, oh wait, you got one of my favorite words, name card and blank cards for you to put your own words, thoughts, and then 44 messages with a question on the back. Okay, so we're going to set aside the blank ones and work with the 44. So this is about either giving you a phrase to think about or a question to reflect or meditate on. So closing there and letting that be what you can work with. This Four of Swords. Antlers are part of protection in a fight. Like, you can hear the sound of two antlers like crashing together. They also are what a deer uses to rub on the tree to mark like territory, to begin that mating ritual. Perhaps I could be a little off on this. I'm kind of going, like, I didn't hunt much. My dad, like, I've helped my dad clean a deer, and I've walked in the woods with my uncle, so I just like know a little bit. And there's this part where they also clear the path to set an invitation, just like in the giving tree, they cut the tree as an invitation for a seat. And does the seat that is given to you feel like your throne? Does it feel like your place to be? This is a beautiful deck. I'm so grateful. I love the gold leaf. Empathy. So have empathy with yourself as you go through this process, but also who's coming at you with daggers and those who threw the daggers. This is far easier said than done, because the first thing I want to do, for me personally, is like I want to run and hide. Some people put up a fight, more like lashing out. But having empathy that those people that are hurting you, it's their own pain that's being thrown at. And do we want to keep throwing daggers, or do we want to give love? And it's time to give love. And can you feel that space in between? So this place in between on an energetic level, but in between, like your human part, your spiritual being, this place in between your transformation and your growth, and being willing to really go into that, because that's where the magic is going to happen. Far easier said than done. Stand your ground. Stand your ground and be that. And sometimes standing your ground is not about what you say. Like, inaction is action, and it's more about just being in your energy, being in, and calling on higher wisdom to protect you. Will you stand your ground? So will you choose that, or will you keep fighting a good fight? Like, fight a good fight, fight with your ego. And that fight with the ego will continue until you choose love and empathy to heal the wounds of the past. That will then transform who you thought you were to who you are capable of becoming, and allow you to follow your dreams. So be willing to put something to rest. Be willing to put something to rest. Be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to listen. Be open to love. Be curious with yourself and what's happening, but discern what cup you drink from and what you dive into, because what will give you reciprocity and clarity in the end. And can you trust that as you put in the magic, if you put in the work, as you give yourself the love, that you will receive what you need to proceed on your journey and carry out this dance today. Do hope this served well. Take what resonates. Send them.